Hello, welcome to the garden in June. It's June 4th, so still early June, but a lot happened in May, as it does. We have a lot of holidays in May in Norway, so I've had a lot of time to walk around in the garden here and do some work, and I've listened to a lot of audiobooks and it's been really, really nice. So I'll put some clips from that here when it's appropriate. It's raining a little bit today. We can start with a temperature check. Inside the greenhouse we have around 19 degrees. Outside we have around 14 degrees. I think like around mid-May we had really beautiful weather, like really warm weather, and just super summer temperatures, and very sunny, and it was amazing. But then the whole end of May has been quite rainy and cloudy, so it's definitely kind of things have slowed down a bit this in the end of May. But now in June we're supposed to be getting some warmer weather soon, and the fact that it's like 14 degrees today I would say is warmer than it's been. It's been more around like 5 degrees I think. So looking forward to that. So let's start inside the greenhouse here and then we can move out after that. So the biggest thing you'll see is this. So this whole bed used to be split into 3 smaller beds, but finally, around a year after the greenhouse came up, so maybe that's not so bad, it could have gone slower, I managed to make one big frame here. So it was a little bit tricky because I didn't really want to move all of these plants here. These are like some overwintered flowers and strawberries, and I kind of wanted to let them stay there. So I ended up just taking away the frame, and as you can see there are some gaps there and stuff that I'll have to fix once I can move these plants, but for now it's good. And I also had these peas growing here, so I didn't want to disturb them, but it worked quite well to just build this frame around this existing stuff, just lifting the old frame off. And then here I have some remnants from the stuff that was growing here. So I had spinach growing here, and I unfortunately had to remove all the spinach, but it was amazing. It gave me 3 harvests of the plants, because after you clip the plants off, they can grow new spinach leaves. So I got really a lot of spinach and broccoli leaves from what I had growing here. And then I also had this row of dill here, which I haven't moved. So I removed all the spinach and broccoli plants, but I left the dill here because it's growing nicely. And this is not growing in the ground, it's just growing in a little box. But this is Mizuna cabbage, which I've also harvested really a lot, so it's starting to go to flower now. It's not a big problem, but we'll see what I do with it. But I have been able to harvest a lot of it, so that's been very nice. So both spinach and broccoli and plants and dill has been, and the Mizuna cabbage, they have all been really nice to be able to harvest from. So then I have moved some strawberry plants, and then this is, I think it's called the sorrel. It's kind of like a sour, you eat the leaves and they taste kind of sour. So that seems to be growing. I have it many places in my garden. It grows very easily, so that's nice. I just let it be there. And then the other plants here are physalis. So I started them inside, and then when it was so warm outside, I moved them outside. And then first I had them in those plastic boxes to give it like an extra layer of heat. But then when it was so warm, I planted them out, and even though it's been pretty cold lately, they seem to manage just fine. So I'm hoping they will grow well. And then I have some lamb's lettuce that eventually came up. It was really slow. And then some other annual flowers. It's a nice idea to just have some annual flowers lying around, so that if there are some spots you need to fill in, then they're ready. And then I have a tray here of some different herbs. So there's some celery, parsley, and coriander. And then it's the same on this side: coriander, parsley, and celery. And it's like it's not like regular celery. It's like just like I think it's, actually I don't know. I know nothing about celery, but I think it's like a smaller variety and faster. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. And then I have some more. I think these are zinnia. Yes, so many of these I've planted out, so the tray is pretty empty. So we'll see. I'm just keeping them for now, and if I have some spots, they can live there. Most of my sunflowers, I kept them on the ground, which wasn't a good idea because there are mice in here. So most of my sunflowers got eaten by mice. But I have 4 survivors, so they're living here for now. And then here are just some more annual flowers. And here are my beautiful rapini plants. So I have sown the rapini in 2 different ways. First, I have a round that I sowed inside in February, and that's what's outside. I'll show you immediately, even though it's raining. So that's these plants, and as you can see, they're not super pretty. So that one is one of the better ones, but some of them, like this one, you can see, I think these are better without pre-sowing inside. So whereas the broccoli and the cauliflower, I think you need to pre-sow, at least like for my climate. They need some time inside to get like a head start, but the rapini grows so fast, so I don't think that was necessary. So I think I will, let's see, when did I sow these ones? So these were sown April 30th, so that's quite late. I could have sown them outside even earlier and they would have still grown in the greenhouse. So, but even though I sowed them that late, they look really, really nice now. So I think next year the rapina I won't bother sowing inside, I'll just sow it outside. I think beginning of April is early enough. And then here I have just a bunch of pots. So there are some strawberry plants, and then some pots with flowers, just annual flowers. I can't remember what all of these are, but we'll see. Eventually it will become clear. And then this is my gooseberry bush. Super pretty. I think I will be planting that outside over there. It's a big mess there, so please ignore that. But that's kind of where I plan to have the bushes. I have a black currant bush there now. So I'll do that really soon. And then this is my grape plant. I thought it had died, but actually there are leaves coming out here now. There's life, so that I plan to plant here. So yeah, here, like I said, I have some flowers and some strawberries, and then here I had some just like a mix of, before I put this bed up, I had just kind of like a mix of old brassica seeds growing and some old peas. The peas didn't do well, I don't know why, maybe the mice ate them, but the brassica seeds were really nice. I just cut them all down and they gave me a nice salad. So this space here, I need to fill up with some more dirt here. I put some bokashi in, and so that's why there's like a thin layer of mold on top in some places here. But I just need to buy some dirt and fill this up, and then that'll be ready. So I'll have probably cucumbers growing here this year, and that's why I've also prepared these buckets, because in case I don't manage to fill up all of this with dirt, then I can just fill these buckets. I've put some bokashi compost in them, and then I just fill up the top, and then I'll grow the cucumbers directly in the buckets, so that I don't need to. Oh yeah, and the point with the buckets is that they don't have a bottom. You can maybe see there I've cut the entire bottom out, so all of these buckets are just like cylinders without a bottom, and so the cucumber plants can then have their little bucket of dirt there, and then they can put their roots into the ground just fine, but I don't have to bother with filling up the entire space around them. So as long as I don't have more than 3 cucumber plants, that should be okay. My cucumber plants are currently growing inside. I did sow some outside too, just to see if that would work, but none of them have sprouted. So these are squash and cucumber plants here, but they aren't sprouting, which I think is to be expected. I think cucumbers need high temperatures to sprout, but I have some inside too. So this was just an experiment. But I did sow the cucumber a little late because I kind of forgot about it, so I'll also see if I can find some plants at a garden center that have a bit more of a start. Okay, then I think that was all for the greenhouse. As you might also notice, I've okay, maybe it's not obvious, but I've cleaned a lot of stuff here, but there's still definitely a lot of trash, like these nails and all of the stuff standing up here and these toolboxes. So I'm actually moving out of my apartment now and into a new apartment, so my life in general is kind of busy, so this isn't first priority right now, but the snow has melted now, so there's nothing other than time stopping me from taking all of this stuff to the recycling center. Okay, let's go look outside. So it's raining a little bit right now, but we can do this, I think. So this is the victory onion. It's looking very happy. I'm so happy with it, and it's like so much more green than anything else here right now. The other alliums seem to be doing well. Some of this wild strawberries aren't coming up so well. Some of these plants seem to have died over the winter, but then others are doing good, so I think, and I have some extra plants that I can put in here if I need to fill in. So most of them seem good. And then here, this little thing, let's see, can we get a better angle, is my asparagus. So I should have some more coming along here, but so far only this tiny one. But that's good. That's like, okay, at least it's possible. And then here I've removed the two frames that I had here because I felt like they were kind of blocking the flow of movement a bit too much, and I do really, I think it looks much better when they're not here, as soon as we get some grass growing. And I considered having a tree growing here instead, like a fruit tree. I think I talked about that last year, but yeah, there are enough. I have enough projects now, so I don't want to overwhelm myself. So for now, I'm going to plant some grass here and then just keep it simple. The main plants I had growing here were some strawberry plants and horse mint, I think it's called. So the horse mint, I realized that it was really spreading, so I've moved it only to pots. So now I have like, I think maybe 4 pots spread all over the place, because I do think they have really beautiful flowers. Like very bright, vibrant red flowers. So I want to keep the plant, but I don't want it to take over the whole garden. So pots for now. I'm very happy that most of the plants in the perennial bed here seem to have survived the winter. Some of them certainly look dead, but most of the ones that haven't survived, I think I sort of expected not to survive. So there's at least not so many casualties that this will look empty. I think it will look quite full when it starts flowering. So I'll do just like a quick swoop over here. This is actually one that I planted in after the winter, because it was in the greenhouse, so that's, I think, why it's looking like some of the leaves aren't looking so bright. So I hope it makes it. There's some flowers starting. So this is an aquilegia that was growing here on the corner there of the house when we bought the cabin. So I moved it because it wasn't doing very well there, and now I'm hoping to help it survive. This is, it looks almost like some kind of succulent. I think, is it called like sedum or something in English? And then I have many achilleas, this thing, I don't know, however you pronounce it. I have a few different varieties, so this is a more like pale pink orange one, and then further over there are some brighter ones. We'll get to that. This is my dandelion, either white or pink dandelion, and that's doing great. There's so many plants here, so I'm not going to bother to look up all the names. This has red flowers. That's the only important. Really beautiful red flowers. It's mostly orange and red and yellow and pink, I think. I would love to have some more like blues as well, but for now I'm more focused on just like having a lot of color rather than matching it in an intelligent way. More of this Achillea, a pink type, and then another pink flower that looks like this, Tenacetium something. Now this is where my white dandelion should be growing, but there definitely isn't any dandelion there. However, here, this is my pink dandelion, which is doing very well. I would rather have my pink dandelion than my white dandelion if I had to choose. And this didn't flower last year, but now there's a flower coming up, so that's exciting. And then there's some more yellow flowers, and this is a hollyhocks. And this is also a plant that I planted this year, so it hasn't overwintered here. And this is is it called Oriental Poppy? That's the direct translation. It's white and kind of red in the center, and it's supposed to be perennial, like a perennial poppy. More dandelion. This might be either white or pink. I haven't marked it, but there's a flower coming up here, so we'll find out soon. And Equilegia that's doing really well. That's good to see. And then here are just some more. One of these, and another one of these, and hollyhocks. This is some kind of, I think, yeah, some kind of malva with white flowers. I'm assuming from the name. I'm excited to see how this will turn out if things flower, because I was gone from September and things weren't really flowering in August last year, so I haven't really seen this flower, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Moving on, this bed is looking not very weedy. So here I've planted potatoes. So first I weeded it really thoroughly, and I moved it was this, which I think is a kind of buttercup, but like a weedy buttercup, like it's spreads with its roots. So you can see there's a lot in here. I was hoping to just let it like dry out here, but then of course it's been raining. So that's at least maybe dying there. So I weeded it pretty thoroughly, and then but you can see there's still some stuff coming up through. And then I put on lots of cardboard, and then I cut little holes in the cardboard here, and then I put potatoes in the holes. So the potatoes haven't come up yet, but that's normal. So this isn't a potato, this is just some green stuff. So we'll see when they come up, but other than that, I'm quite happy with this. So I took out a lot of the sticks that I had buried here previously, but then there was one day I just had lots of time and I was listening to a nice audiobook, so I just sat here and broke up the smaller sticks into smaller pieces, like this, and I just sat here and did that for ages, and it was really nice. And so the ones that I wasn't able to break, I put somewhere else, but the ones I was able to break, I'm just leaving here as kind of a mulch. So you can see it And then I've also put some like, I think these are from some poppies I had growing over there last year. So just any kind of dry plant material that I could put on top, I put on top. So I hope I might have to help some of the potatoes push through here, but I think they'll do fine. This is so light. Okay, so this one we've already covered a little bit. So I have the zucchini in the middle. This is the broccoli row, and this is the cauliflower row. I was so happy with the cauliflower last year. It's a purple variety. But I think some broccoli varieties are a little bit faster. And also I think the broccoli makes like sprouts after you harvest the main flower clump. So I think broccoli might give a little bit more food. So this is a purple variety of broccoli called Miranda. This is the same as I grew last year, the same cauliflower type, because I loved it. It was just so beautiful, and it just made me so happy. Even though it didn't produce a lot of food, it was just so pretty. And then I also have some pak choi growing here just temporarily. It's not doing great, but I think it might. Some of it's been very much eaten up, but I think it'll be nice. And then I have some marigold growing on the sides, and some yellow cosmos growing in the middle. This is my flower bed for this year. I have just a whole lot of lots of different flowers growing here, so I'm not going to go through them all. And I also don't remember, I haven't marked everything, and I don't remember what it looks like, so it'll just be nice to see when they flower. No, I haven't planned the structure at all, so it'll be a yeah. I pretty much feel like flowers are pretty anyway, so I don't bother so much with the color coordination. And then in the middle, I have mixed, there's this Swiss chard, and then there's some, I think this is calendula. So it's like Swiss chard calendula. So the Swiss chard is looking a little pale. I hope it has enough nutrients here. And then finally, in this last bed, I have this area is Jerusalem artichoke. So unfortunately, when I arrived here today, I discovered a hole there, but luckily it was quite a concentrated hole, sort of. It was just like right there. And so they had dug up one, I think it was a badger, and it had dug up one of the Jerusalem artichokes that I had planted, and I saw that there was a little green thing growing on it, like a sprout growing out of it that had been broken off, but I think it'll manage to recover. And it was just one of them, so hopefully the rest will be fine. More of the peas, these are the same that are growing inside the greenhouse, but they're definitely growing slower here, no surprise. But it's interesting to see how much the greenhouse helps. Not that that's strange. And then I have some nasturtiums growing that I planted out in this entire area, but then unfortunately some of them have been uprooted by the badger. Here I have my edible chrysanthemum. I've gone for quite a big space because I think it might be good to have a lot of it, because I want to try to really use it in cooking this year. If I need to plant something else, if I need the space for something else, I don't mind taking them away. And they'll also flower in the end, so yeah, I figured I could just give them the space. And then on the back here I have some broad beans that I think are looking really nice, so maybe I'll actually get some nice broad beans this year. I moved this pile of cardboard here from when I was putting cardboard in the potato bed, but now I can't move it because it's become home to lots of these beetles. I can just see one of them now, but there were lots more. I thought earlier that I would move it, and then I lifted it, and there were like 5 of them falling out of the cardboard, so I'm leaving it for now. I don't have anything to use it for anyway, so it might as well be a beetle home. Okay, then this is my strawberry bed, so I'm very excited this year to have an entire frame dedicated to strawberries. I had strawberries here last year too, so some of these strawberries are old, and others are moved from like the greenhouse or these frames here. So there are actually a lot of different varieties of strawberries too, but I have absolutely no idea what's what, so that'll be interesting to see. And then also this sorrel plant that seems to be very happy here. So the strawberries don't do so great in the greenhouse because I'm not able to air it out as much as it should be. So they tend to get moldy quite fast. I'll try to grow them outside more than in the greenhouse. And then this is the herb bed. Again, lots of the sorrel is very happy. And then I bought this a chocolate mint. And then this is the horse mint from that I showed. I have it in lots of pots all over the place. I've put them in pots. I've left them in pots because I don't want them to take over this whole space. Some catnip. It might even be like a lemon variety. Let's try to smell it. Yeah, this is definitely a lemon variety. So it smells a lot like... is it lemon balm? Because I also have whatever plant that smells like. It's called citronmelisse in Norwegian. So this is a variety of that. It might be lemon balm that smells like mandarin. And then I have thyme, and so I'm happy to see that that's survived. And the oregano. This is plain lemon balm. Interestingly, this seems to be doing worse than this special variety, but that could just be random. And then this is mint. I think it's called apple mint. It looks like my sage didn't make it, which is unfortunate because I really like sage, but I can plant more of that. My water collection system is up and running. I haven't seen any more frogs here. Though I have seen 2 frogs in the greenhouse today. The ramson is doing great, although the ground elder and other plants are kind of taking over here, but that's okay. So hopefully these flowers will turn into seeds and maybe this will spread. And then there's the rhubarb here. I will have to do some weeding here, I think. And some rhubarb here, and then this big rhubarb. Maybe I can actually harvest some of this year.